Jaya Jagadisha Hare Swami Jaya Jagadisha Hare Bhakta Jano Ke Sanghata Bhakta Jano Ke Sanghata Shaname Guru Gare Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Swami Jaya Jagadisha Hare Bhakta Jano Ke Sanghata Bhakta Jano Ke Sanghata Shaname Guru Gare Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jogya Premhara Bhave Dukha Se Manata Swami Dukha Se Manata Sukha Salam Bhakti Karare Sukha Salam Bhakti Karare Dukha Swami Karanta Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare Mata Pita Kumare Sharana Garume Kisaki Swami Sharana Garume Kisaki Kumadina Ora Tuja Kumadina Ora Tuja Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare Kumapurana Paramatma Kumarantarayami Swami Kumarantarayami Parabrahma Parameshwara Parabrahma Parameshwara Kumasavakeshwara Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare Karuna Ke Sadara Kumaparana Karuna Swami Kumaparana Karuna Ye Murakakalakami Ye Murakakalakami Vipagaro Om Jaya Jagadisha Kumaho Ekarato Chara Savake Pranapati Swami Savake Pranapati Kisaki Kilo Daya Maya Kisaki Kilo Daya Maya Kumato Veku Om Jaya Jagadisha Nabando Kukahara Swami Mahatma Swami Padaro Deva Shadharamati Varao Shadharamati Varao Sandhamati Seva Om Jaya Jagadisha Dana Mana Dana Sada Kuch Tera Swami Saba Kuch Tera Tera tuझको अर्पण तेरा तुझको अर्पण प्याला दे मेरा ओम जय जगदीश ओम जय जगदीश स्वामी जय जगदीश
Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang this morning. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Today is a very important day. Very important. Because what happened is, first thing in the morning I woke up and I had a meeting with a very enlightened being. It was very beautiful. So I said, why just me? Why don't you come and meet the entire Sangha? So this being said, yes, I'm happy to come. But I have one condition. If they judge me or interpret me, then I will behave like a regular person. So when this one comes, we have to promise not to judge or interpret. Promise? Yes. The enlightened being is coming now. What you have to do is, without judgment or interpretation, meet yourself. Then I said to this Holy Father, my children say that they find it too difficult to not judge or interpret. Please give them an easier way. And then this being said, okay, even if they judge or interpret me, in every moment, I come back in my fully pristine nature. He said, this is my gift to you and to all those who are open to this recognition. This is the only true gift I have for you. This invitation to meet yourself unconditionally. This is the only truth there is. Your being, your being said to me, it doesn't matter, my son. Whatever your children might do, I am always here. Your being said, all that which they consider their mistakes and sins, all that they consider their mistakes and sins are not important to me at all. They don't make any difference. All the feelings of specialness or unworthiness It makes no difference to me at all. I am here. As existence itself. The unchanging Atma. Taste your presence. Smell the fragrance of your own being. Hear the vibration of the primordial existence. See with your inner sight where all seeing comes from. Touch the holy feet of your own self. Your being said to me, I am the only light there is. In my light, all things come and go. And your being is ever free. Don't forget your promise. In this moment, as the being is here, we won't interpret or judge it, because then it will act just like a regular person. And now we are yearning for a taste of the being itself. The person was a beautiful play, which was fully enjoyed. But now the heart's longing is for that which is beyond time and space, beyond coming and going, beyond pain and pleasure, beyond all things. Meet the holiness of your own self. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Did you meet the enlightened being? Nice meeting. Yes or no? Can it ever leave you? This is now for a bit. Because all of you would have walked from the cave. No? That's why. The chair was perfectly positioned. No? For my story. Some of you were waiting for somebody to come and sit there. No? I didn't plan it that way. It just happened to be. Are you going to make it a short-term visit of this enlightened being, or what interpretation, what judgment, what notion, what question, what concept is greater than your presence? The light of the universe itself is you. What else do we need to hear? What needs to be said now? And what was the promise? The promise was, even if you interpret or judge, in this moment, your true being is here. What can be better than this? We might delude ourselves completely for as long as we want. But this moment, all delusion is gone. Your truth is here. And in the light of this truth, all activities, all movements of this world are happening. And this body is not excluded from it. In this freshness of your own existence, all things move. You don't have to understand anything. You don't have to forget anything. You are here. You have considered this I am here as if it is the existence of something small. Now you don't have to believe that it is something big. You just have to drop the notion of small. Your being needs no belief. So then you might ask, has all of this been much ado about nothing? Because the truth has always been here? In a way, we can say yes, because it is a play. You have never been lost. And to see this is to find yourself. Do you have to keep this? Do you have now a strategy to hold on to this after the retreat is over? Is there a plan as to how can I just be this being? No such thing is needed. You couldn't lose it if you tried. You might be experiencing some states, and they could be beautiful states. But know that all states are coming and going. That in which states are coming and going is not going anywhere. So that is the light of even states. Enjoy the joy, feel the beauty of it. As a prasad, a gift from the Lord for your beautiful silence. But don't forget your own Lord, your own being for the prasad. At your own feet, all prasad will come. All gifts, all offerings will come. Don't have to renounce anything. Enjoy everything as it comes. In fact, enjoy fully, 100%. This being is the supreme intelligence that has always ran this life, run this life. It needs no help, no intervention. It is life itself. So what help would life need to run life? If ever the deluded idea comes that I lost it, just meet yourself fresh. You are here. the most enlightened being I have ever met. The only one, actually. All of these are your forms, your various shapes and sizes. There is only one of you. The same one that was there as the light of the waking state itself. Now, when someone says, "Are you truly enlightened?" You say, "I'm the same as you. One being, one self." What does this mean, truly enlightened? Who is not? Show me one who in this very moment is bound. What kind of game is this? Where we go looking for that which is always naturally just here. This is the game that consciousness is playing with itself. Meet yourself. The pointing is clear. It does not have a how. Don't waste time on how do I meet myself. Meet yourself. You are here. Now my question to you, consciousness, is How do you want to play? What moves do you still have left? Every time I speak, I feel like must be done now. No moves left. So then, let's not fall for the same old moves. It can't be so simple. That's done, no? Is too simple is done or no? Who are done with this? Who are- Too simple. Too simple to find the truth of what I am. But you are, no? How can it be difficult to be, to exist? It can't be this simple. If there was an it to get to, I would admit that what we are saying. That's right. Remember what I said? How difficult is it for you to sit exactly where you're sitting? To come to this point, how many steps you have to take? Now, why you don't say it's too simple to sit where I'm sitting? But to be the self, we say, but that is too simple. I've never heard a complaint, it's just too simple to be where I'm sitting. Is it? All the sitting, standing, lying down, sleeping, waking, all is happening within the self. So it must be simpler than sitting. What must it be more difficult than? If finding the self seems too simple this way, then tell me what it must be more difficult than. Is it more difficult to be than to lift your hand? Is it more difficult to be, to exist? But I know what the trouble also is. It is because we've heard all these stories. In India, we've heard even more. He sat for 1,000 years in a cave, to the point where there was a big ant hill around him. It enclosed him completely, you see. And then he got his enlightenment. You hear that story anywhere? If I get a promise that it's going to happen 6 lifetime later, I'm okay with that. You see? But what did he say when he found this truth about himself? Did he say, I really had to sit for these 1,000 years? Never said that. He said, I only found what I have always been. The great sage Ashtavakra, at no point he said, you have to become that. He's always said, you are. I am. So maybe in the play, that one had to sit for 1,000 years to get rid of the idea of becoming. You see? But if you like believing all these esoteric stories, then let me give you a proposition. All of you in your previous lifetimes have sat in meditation for 999 years, 364 days, 55 minutes, no, hours, no? 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. And the fruit is available now. You feel I'm lying? Then there can be a notion, oh, Krishna said only 1 in a million will get it. He didn't say that, but there's this popular notion. So, what is the population of this world? 7 billion. How many in this room? 70. Sounds not good. Sounds like better odds than Krishna gave. You have no reason to doubt your truth. And what did these 70 out of 7 billion get? They got that there is nothing to get. I have always been. Okay, also, we have to count those online. So whatever 10, 10, 12, 32, you're counted in this, okay? This doesn't mean that you have to be in this physical location. So finish, game over. Can we put the pen down? The autobiography is done. What happened? Nothing. don't have to hold on to anything. Your being has promised me that it is always there. It's too hot on that side. So now I have a question for all of you. What are we going to do with the remaining time? Just a concept?
You can ask a
Yeah?
can I ask something?
Yes?
If everything is predestined,
Yeah? Speak.
namaste.
Namaste.
If everything is predestined, is enlightenment also?
I never said everything is predestined.
Oh, I thought this was a pre-written script.
No. Did we speak about this? Anyway, let me. It's a, it's a popular notion, but it is to bring some rest to our mind, the notion of predestiny, because that would mean that consciousness is not fresh. It is operating on some pre-written script. But consciousness is completely free, you see, because it is prior to time and space. So in that way, the will of consciousness is predestined because time does not apply to it. But if you feel like uh, it is some robotic existence that consciousness is living out, that is not the case. It is just a sort of a level confusion, because as long as we consider ourselves an object within time, it can seem like, but I am, whatever is to happen with me is predestined. But what you're finding for yourself, this being that you're discovering, is it subject to time? So this being is prior to time, your being. And the discovery of this is here now. So rather than predestined, we can just say simply it is the will of consciousness when something has to happen or not. Because predestination brings this notion of time into it, and consciousness is not subject to that. Okay, now it's a bit cold on this side. I know what we're going to do next few days. We're just going to manage the temperature. Self is done now. Body, what does the body temperature need? We can also, this is our cave also. It's a very convenient cave. Well, temperature in caves can be. Yeah. Yeah, but can we, instead of turning it off, can we increase the temperature by a few degrees? No. Huh? It's not. Yeah, that's what it is. We'll just see. Yeah. No. Thank you. It was comfortable till a few moments ago. Mike Isud. Come, come. Yes, come. She's saying, I'm not sure whether words will come out. And even that you have to say in the mic. Yeah, just a joke.
I could be, I don't know,
Yeah.
I could really sense the beauty of what you were guiding,
Yeah.
but since last night I've been pressure cooking, and it's like I can see it's simple. I can, like, it's like part of me was following what you're saying, and it seems that that following just actually maybe is just the grace of sitting in your presence, though, because but even this morning I'm not just very just strong, whatever it came up as, it's just been so strong emotionally that I just, this time it's not letting go,
Yeah.
and it made it all the harder actually to come up after that. It's just like, oh my god, you know. But it's a choice of, you know, either I ask you for your help or I leave here with the front that everything's okay, and it's
You
not
can
feeling
always
okay.
ask. You can always ask.
Yeah. So it's like I'm getting it, but at the same time, sometimes when there's a storm, I realized that I was picking up a lot of notions yesterday at one point, and when there's a storm of thought and emotion, it just seems, you know, and I'm recognizing I can see this, I'm aware of this, but it seems irrelevant because the storm is just raging strong, and even to surrender it to it it feels impossible because there's so much fear. It's all about holding back out of fear, you know. And so I came this morning wanting to ask your help with that. And then there's this beautiful guided inquiry, and there should be no questions left to ask, no problems, nothing. And here I am.
But even
that's how it is.
even that should, that
Yeah,
there
I
should
know, it's
not
a
be,
notion as
is
well.
also a judgment.
It is, I
So
know.
you cannot, it is.
Yeah. So
It's good.
it's been quite I'm sitting there, you know, over that's the thing, and I just it's just long feelings of wanting to just check out, and thoughts of like, wow, I just must not be ready for this, you know.
That's why I said everyone is ready. Why do you feel that the storm is in opposition to your truth? I'm glad she didn't say consciousness. You could have got me big time. But you know what I mean? We have this notion that something similar to what Govind was saying also yesterday. Agitation was coming strong. So when we looked and we saw, so does it truly have an opposing position to your being?
No, but I can't seem to rest in my being when that's there.
But you are resting in your being whether whatever might be coming or going. Because my idea of resting in the being is not a special state.
But if that's all there is to it, why come to Satsang at all?
Yes, that's why I said much ado about nothing. But just so that we can have this conversation. Just so we can have this conversation now.
I don't understand your response.
Yeah. In the sense, somebody came and said to a master, do I need a living master? And he said, yes. He said, why do I need a living master? So that you can ask this question.
Why come to Satsang?
No. Do I need a living master?
I'm feeling a bit stupid right now.
No,
It's not going in.
Don't. What I'm saying is that, why does anything happen in the play? This is just because it does. It just does. But does this mean that we came to satsang to get something? That might have been the initial seeming motivation, but the discovery is that I have always been this, irrespective of the states that come and go. You see, suppose now the state which came was really beautiful, serenity instead of the storm. You see, and you had come to me and said, this is so beautiful, Father, there is just serenity, thank you for this state. I would have told you, even this is not it. The same way that I'm talking about the storm. You see? So, whether storm or serenity, you are, no?
It just right now it doesn't feel like enough.
It doesn't feel like enough.
And I know
And
that's
no, don't.
I know it's everything, and yet
No, you don't have to worry about it at all. It doesn't feel like enough. Is also included in your being. You don't have to push that away. Feeling like not enough. You can shout at me and say, but this is not enough. And I'm fine with that. I'm not in any opposition to anything you might say. Because I'm actually the voice of your own being. It is not opposing all of this, which is coming and going.
just a sense that this resistance has to move.
Yeah.
Be it
Yeah. That's why yesterday I was saying somebody said Jung. I'm not sure. Somebody can tell me later who was it, Jung or Freud. One of them said, "What you resist persists." You're resisting the resistance itself. It seems to persist. You said something also, which was a part of you was following. You see. And you said because Sadhguru's grace is there, for whatever reason it was following. What was that part discovering?
was, I want to say part, it's not really part, but it was
Yeah.
like I was in moments following and then
Following.
moments feeling pulled back into this person.
Yes.
Would,
I can understand.
and then,
Yes. That's why I never said I'm retiring. Because I know that a bit of this oscillation will continue to happen. And remember also that there is no instance in this known humanity that this has gone 100% for anyone, even for the greatest sage.
there's, I believe that they're the picking up of these notions, like there's certain notions that are very compelling, and that is will continue to be a problem in my.
Can you expose one?
Ability.
Can you share one compelling?
Yeah, like yesterday.
Okay, let me help you with it. Suppose the compelling notion was, I'm just not getting to my freedom. Suppose. Then one who is not looking, the notion is just a notion. The one who is interested in becoming a Olympic figure skater, if this notion came to them, I'm just not getting my freedom. The notion itself doesn't have the power, you see. If the notion for that one would have come, you're just not going to make it to the Olympics, you know. So that one would have been compelling for them, fearful, compelling, all of these things, you see. So it is not inherent in the notion itself, the compellingness, you see.
No.
It is based on what we feel like we have to get to, what is the state which is like a final state that we have to get to. So you will find behind most of these notions that you might be feeling some are inherently taken, some are inherently compelling, but you will find that the same notion does not seem like with the same compelling nature for
No, I
all
know
of
it's
us.
not compelling for like inherently. It's just to do with, due to my own conditioning. Certain ones are.
Yes, but that noticing itself is very good, because many, I have had this conversation with many, and many have to look at it fresh then, but you already see this. If you're already aware of this, it's very beautiful.
Yes. The feeling I'm going to need to speak with you about it more, about the actual notions.
Come and speak to me 10,000 times. I'm not pushing you at all. Take your time. I don't have a benchmark in terms of anything at all. It's okay. You also come, sweetie. What happened? Why are you so upset? Come, chicken, come. Come. Oh.
It's a bit of a
Before you start, Many people have said to me they really enjoyed our last conversation.
Yeah.
With the meow was the conversation. You better come up with something good now. The audience is waiting with.
I'm entertaining myself.
Ah, is this true?
I think so.
Sound like Byron Katie.
Oh. There's something which is going on, and you got to help me with this.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not here for truth.
Definite.
No,
How you know?
because I didn't come for this retreat for seeking truth, because I've already seen it.
Yeah.
So I know it's always here. I'm not chasing it.
Yes. Now you put yourself in a bit of a box there, no? Because if the truth is always here and you've seen it, I don't know what you can follow that up with. Now I'm waiting with.
No, I'm. What I've noticed this couple of 3 days is that something is shaken from inside now. I had a experience in 2009
Yeah.
where until 2009 I was totally believing that everything is God's will,
Yeah.
and anything happened, it was God's grace. So I lived, even though I was not knowing about all these things. Right up till 2009, there's something which happened in my life. That event changed the whole thing. And it sounds funny, but then I thought, okay, God cannot run my life better. I better take my control of my life, and that because God can mess my life, and I felt it's already messed. So presumption that I can take over my life and run my life better. That happened. 2009 till 2015 until I met you, it was super mess. Never got better. So in 2009, it was hard to believe or have trust and faith in God because of that event, what had happened. And I feel the same now. No, it's the same, but what has actually happened is, anyway, everything is taken away from me. I don't have anything now. Okay. So what is actually happening is everything is shaking. There is a very gradual process of opening up and backing up. Sometimes there is openness to surrender, and in that fraction of that moment, it's so freedom to surrender. But at the same time, there's one step forward to openness, two steps backward to that.
If something had to be surrendered, what would you surrender?
No, it's not.
Okay. Let me help some. You said that till 2009, there's a great belief that everything is God's will, everything is God's grace. You see? Then 2009, an event happened where you felt like, no, this could not have been God's will, could not have been God's grace. So you said that I have to take back charge of my life. I cannot leave it to God. Then till 2015, it continued to be a mess. And then you started coming to Satsang. And now again, something seems to be shaking up again. You see? Now, most of humanity is actually misunderstanding surrender. You see? Misunderstanding surrender. Let me tell you why. So, what can often happen is surrender means that you do it, you run my life. Isn't it? And that is a beautiful first step. It is a beautiful first step. But it is not the full step.
It's not the full step.
It is not the full step. You do it, you run my life, or the recognition you are doing it, you are running my life anyway. That is half surrender. You see? Because we have surrendered the doership over, but we have not yet surrendered the experiencership over. You are the doer, I am still the experiencer. And this creates too much dichotomy, too much conflict. You see? Now, if we consider ourselves to be an individual experiencer of what a higher power is doing, then always there will come some events which we don't agree with. And we will say, why you, God, are making me a victim of this? You see? So the first step to surrender, this half surrender, you are the doer, that deepens in this surrender, and then it becomes, you are doing, you are experiencing, my Lord. What is my role in this play? I don't understand. You see? Then that deepens further into, you are the one doer, one experiencer, this me was never here. So that's why surrender and inquiry is the same. True surrender and inquiry is the same. But if it is this kind of half surrender, you see? In Sanskrit it is said, Tvam karta, tvam bhokta is surrender, which means you are the doer, you are the experiencer. You see? But we know that, especially in our Indian culture, it is very much this popular notion is this half surrender. You are doing, but please make sure what you're doing is, take care of me, okay, basically. You see, so it's basically a business deal that you're making with God, saying, I surrender to you, but by the way, I'm keeping one eye open, okay? And you better not mess this up because then I'm going to take it back, you see? So now the surrender that we are discovering is, the one that is doing is the one also that is experiencing. You see? Let's surrender to that one. And we are coming to clarity about who that is. So, if you keep God and me in the equation, then it can seem like a lot of things will still be squeezed out of you. You see? Because God did not agree to this deal. Did he say to you in response, when you said, God, I'm surrendering to you, please take care of this me? Did he say, yes, it's a deal? God does not say. Because God wants to experience itself as God ultimately. It has been playing as me, but it is not fine with that. It gets tired of that play after some time. You see? So the other half of the contract was never signed. You see? So the point of this first step towards surrender is not so that you can go back and forth in this first step. You see? It's so that we can also see deeper and come to the second step, which is that the one who is doing the light of my existence is the one that is perceiving, is experiencing also everything. It is only one. And this one is this all-pervasive reality, this consciousness. This is the fruit of surrender. So if you surrender at the Master's feet or at God's feet, we must surrender both aspects, the doing and the experiencing. This must become God's life then. Do with it what you want. You see? It cannot be I surrender to you, do with it what I want. You see? Although it sounds funny when I'm saying it, we notice how much deal making we have done like that. You see, I surrender to you, do with it what I want is not surrender. You see? It is, I surrender to you, do with it what you want. So
That's
then,
where it's a bit, that fear thing is coming up, Father, because I know what you're saying. To completely surrender means it's not that, as you said, to an experience should be okay with everything and should be there more openness. That's where it's scary. What happens, what might happen, or something like that, or fear of unknown, or that's where that stepping up thing is coming up. And whether I like it or not, it's going to happen. I know that because the process has started inside, and it's
now the truth that you have seen. Does it not help you with this?
it is.
What is the truth? Can you shed 1 or 2 points about it?
So it was,
You said that I have seen the truth and it's clear it is always here with me. So on invitation, I said to someone the other day that don't speak about it unless you are invited to. So now I'm inviting you to speak a little bit about it. What is the truth?
that it's never changing. It's
Never
always here, and it's
Never
always available to us right here.
Yes.
No matter what is happening,
Yes.
it's not
Okay.
never you're
So
touched.
it is always there. Is there you also there when it is there?
No,
So in terms of when it is available to us, as what in what way?
as awareness.
As the truth of what we are, no?
Yeah,
This is the truth of what we are. So now, if this is the truth about what you are, is there a way to use this truth to get something better in life, or to make some situation go away? You see? So it is our very own nature that we are discovering. Now tell me, what is the way in which I can make the truth suffer? Not me. You see? So then, if this you see as your own reality, can you find the suffering one? Then
just a pretense, which is, or probably the habit, or letting of the old habits, or whatever is left.
So then if it's just a pretense, why are you not smiling enough? Pretense means it is not serious.
It's
So are you inferring the pretense part because you've heard it from me, or you see it as insight?
I've seen it.
You see, have seen or are seeing?
I'm still, yeah. It's obvious. It's very
It's
obvious.
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 So pretense means light, easy play.
Yeah. I don't know, Father. I really don't know what is being done here, what is happening. I have no clue about everything, what is happening. Totally, I don't know what is happening, seriously.
That's not bad news. Even I don't know what's happening most of the time. Why is it bad news?
It's not a bad news. Just that openness has to be there to accept that I don't know anything, and it's not a bad news.
It can be here now.
Yeah. That's again the habit to go back, or to,
No matter how strong the habit is, it is not stronger than the truth. The truth is here now. Habit is not.
yeah, that's the thing. Because truth is here already.
Yeah.
But
But
all these things, they are so they are so attached to these play, this all this coming and going, that when it's taken away from you totally, it feels like you're left with nothing.
yes. So now you've discussed both sides of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You discuss, so if this, it can still feel potent, it can still feel serious. Either we surrender and say, you are the one doer, you are the one experiencer, from our heart, not just verbally. Or we see what you are saying. The truth, no matter what might be coming and going, the truth is unchanging. But just this little bit of habit is there to pick up. But even if I pick up, in this moment I am fresh. I am the self.
Right now it
What
feels
should change? What is not good enough right now that should change?
nothing.
Yeah.
But it is a kind of fear here, Father.
Fear of the unknown?
Fear of taking away me. Something like that.
Yes, 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 yes.
Because it feels like it's going to be the last one.
Yes.
Something like that I
Yes.
feel right now. And right now it feels like it feels like I don't have words to explain what is happening here.
Yes. It's fine. This fear of the unknown, this fear of what's going to happen once the me is not there, these kind of ideas, you see. There are few things that is an advantage of having a living master. One is to see that life seems to be continuing from him, for him, all right, you see. Second is that his hand is there for you to hold, you see. Third is that he will reassure you over and over again that you will be just fine. Everything is taken care of. And I am not going anywhere till this fear doesn't leave you. So blessings are there, Sadhguru's grace is there, everything is there. I know that for many, fear is a normal occurrence to come as this, like you can call it fear of death, fear of the unknown, fear of dissolution, whatever the fear is called. But the master is there.
Yes, resistance also to accept that side, not to accept the unknown, to totally let go of
You
everything.
don't have to do anything now. Just you've noticed everything, it is enough.
Yeah, it's not very like very obvious, like how I can see.
You
It's
don't
very
have to move
subtle.
an inch now. Don't have to move an inch. Don't have to accept also anything.
Okay. I don't feel comfortable.
Yes. Yes. It's okay. It's okay.